Yo, what's up? My name is Kevin. I'm with Atmosphere FC, and in today's video, I'll be talking to my friend Daniel Frank about the current state of soccer in America, and we'll be having a discussion and bouncing a few ideas on how we fix the problems in our current system. First and foremost, I'm someone that loves and cares about soccer in America. So, welcome, Daniel Frank. Oh, what's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a blessed day. Just kind of relaxing and kicking my feet up today. So it's kind of a day off. So it's nice.
Grew up in the American system. I've worked in the American system. I've coached in the American system. So I've seen a little bit behind the scenes, and I want to bounce a few ideas of that I have, with some soccer minds to, see if we can find common ground to find solutions to these problems, because we're not making the big tournaments. We don't qualify to the last World Cup. We just didn't qualify to another Olympics, and all that shit hurts. I don't want to talk bad about my national team, because all these dudes are better than all of us. We have the potential, we have the players, but I feel like we lack the motivation, we lack the identity, the culture. Yeah, we're not qualifying for these big tournaments, bro. And it's I feel like we have the talent, we have the potential to become not just to qualify to these tournaments, but to become a powerhouse in the sport. I feel like we have amazing athletes, we have amazing facilities. The last decades, a lot of people who've graduated from the American system that played in their European leagues, that that they can teach us the game, and we don't have to bring foreigners anymore to teach us soccer or build a soccer culture. I feel like we have enough American talent, enough American experience for us to find the answers to become a powerful nation within this country. That way we don't have to send our players out to develop elsewhere. And
soccer is the most played sport by youths in the country. Like, more people play soccer than anybody else in the country.
If we think about it, the motto of pay to play is for every sport in America, not just soccer. But I feel like youth soccer is the only sport in America that has actual youth structure. I know that basketball has AAU travel teams, and there's a few football clubs, but I don't know if the extent is as big as the youth soccer system, because youth soccer, we have ASO, we have competitive, and you eventually go on and have a bunch of teams. And back to what you were saying, is the most played.
I'm not really sure, but I think definitely football and basketball is rooted within the school system.
Yeah.
Right. So in football and basketball, you play high school ball, you get recruited to college, and from college you go to the pros. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
And in some ways you see it trying to work in soccer in America, but I think it's not going to happen. And there needs to be a structure, which there is already with club, and it's always been that way. Club soccer, even when we were playing high school, was like high school was not important compared to your club.
Facts. Yeah.
But if you're playing football, high school football is like it. So there's
especially in Texas. I've seen some of those Texas school, bro,
and California.
So why can't we have big high school like that for soccer?
Well, the thing about what I was always upset with in high school is that no one showed up to the game. Nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like in college. I mean, high school football games, Friday nights, everybody's out there. They got the band, they got the cheerleaders, there's all sorts of hype. And then it comes to soccer, Wednesday, you're playing a game, no one's showing up,
Yeah.
That sort of shit makes a difference. That sort of shit, like culturally, like at the root of what's going on, makes a difference.
I feel like to what you're saying is 100% true. Like the whole tailgate culture, you have that for football. We don't really have that for soccer. We don't. Why have a band there? Why pregame we don't have that culture yet. We don't have the tradition.
I'm trying to create that wherever I go in my coaching career, is an atmosphere that people want to be around, and because that's the game is beautiful itself, but the atmosphere around it, makes it great. That's why everybody's like, this past year without the fans, it's boring. That's what makes it. And like in high school, like I went to St. Francis, all boys school. You were a soccer player, you got no love, you know. Cheerleaders didn't show up to your game, right? They showed up to the football players' game. They showed up to the basketball players' game. We're out working hard just like everybody, right? Nobody's showing up for us, you
Yeah.
know. The school doesn't. It's like the school doesn't even make an effort for you.
Yeah.
You know, so why play? Why play? You know, soccer. You
Hear
know,
you.
so it's like, well, the glory's not there. You know, the glory's
Yeah.
not there. So if I'm a good athlete, you know, and I'm in high school and I want to get some glory, I want to get some attention, you know, why would I play soccer as opposed to, you know, football or
Football,
basketball?
baseball.
If I have that skill set and that of just being a good athlete, you know, might as well go somewhere else.
I hear you.
But going back to our discussion, baseball actually is something that soccer and American can kind of look to, because I believe that baseball, unlike football and basketball, has its own system outside of college sports that leads to the pros.
I hear you. I hear you. We do see the little leagues and these big, massive kids, bro. So
Baseball is a huge organization.
I hear you.
And they got a whole minor league set up. You know, they got lots of teams. You know, every major league team has 3 minor league teams, right? And you know, guys will play in that all the way up and try to make it to the league. You know,
man, I had no clue. Shout out baseball, bro. You know, I know
think
you're a Dodgers fan. I know you're a Dodgers fan.
For sure, 100%.
People forget the Dodgers won, bro. Stop playing with the Dodgers.
Yeah,
But it's 2021. Obviously, 2020 was a rough year, man. Pandemic. It shocked the world, not just sports, but the whole world, you know. What were some things that you took away from 2020 as far as, you know, health, family, sports?
I don't know. You know, it really strips things down, you know, for me. You know, I'm a coach. But I also manage and run a business. I run a taco catering business, and we do a lot of weddings and, you know, parties. So for me in the event business, you know, working in the event business, it killed it, right? You know, you can't make more money if you're in the party business and there's no parties. So I've always wanted to be a coach, because I was always, you know, loved being on the field and being around the game. But I've always wanted to make my money, you know, somewhere else. You know, I never wanted coaching to be like the primary source of my income. And because I basically lost a job, that's something that really changed for me right now, is that for the past year, coaching has been my money. I started my own, you know, I lost my job. I had to start my own training program to kind of get through. And now I'm still doing that. Took in on that extra load when I lost my work, and now my work's coming back, and now I have to figure out how to reorganize my life, because, you know, if I'm doing what my coaching demands beforehand, added with, you know, the stuff that I developed over the last year because everything was killed. And now my job is coming back. I have to figure out what my priorities are and figure out what I want to keep, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. I spent a lot of time on the field. You know, it's kind of like
facts.
When everything was dead, you know, hopping fences to get on the field. It had nothing else, you know, nowhere else to go. I was there. You know, I started doing a 6 a.m. training session, and I would never do that before. And still doing it now. So I don't know.
No, it was definitely a tough year, bro. I feel like it was a year for everyone to adjust. A lot of people, I had to do a lot of adjusting. I lost my job. I had to pivot and be like, damn, what do I actually want to do? What's important for me, you know? And I've also wanted to stay close to the game. I've fallen out of love with the game through coaching, through my college experience, but I knew somehow I was always gonna either, you know, try to be a D1 coach or something, you know. And here I was last year thinking, I'm like, man, should I start a soccer club? I look at my resume, I look at my soccer network, and it's solid. So I'm like, I can start a club, I can start my own private training. But in reality, bro, the game doesn't need another club. The game doesn't need another private training. I'm not hating on no one's hustle, and everyone has to eat. And I know there's a lot of money in soccer, but we have to do it the right way, and we can't, you know, compromise quality for a few bucks. And I feel like that's our problem here in America, where we don't prioritize quality soccer. We want to make money, we want to sell soccer, and the whole pay to play, even the name is so lame. Pay to play is so whack to me.
Yeah.
And that's our problem, is greed. And I think that the big thing that needs to change is the big clubs. I feel like they sell a bit, you know, they sell a dream, and that they're going to develop and take us to the next level, and, you know, get your child, you know, to a D1 college. And I don't think that should be our top priority. That's our number one. Another mistake is the big club telling us that, you know, our kids need to go to college to play the best, you know, soccer in America. And I don't think that's the right way to go about things. That's not the right way we're going to.
If you ask probably 90% of kids coming up through the system now in club soccer, say, what's your goal as a player? They're probably going to say, I want to play D1.
Yeah, that's what I was lied to. My dad told me that you got to go to D1 because MLS might be kind of hard to go. But I'm like, I always thought I could play. But then I was like, you know what? I'll settle for D1 at BC, and great experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. But if I could go back to an 18-year-old me, I would be like, bro, try to go to the big leagues. Go talk to an agent. Like, fuck the NCAA. You know, I have my feelings towards the college system, and that's a whole nother story. But, you know, I think it could work. I think it could be part of the American system, but it can't be our number one priority. We can't be developing kids to just go to D1.
I agree with you. I mean, it really depends on what happens in that when they're there. You know, it's like once you get to college, that shouldn't be the end point of your career. A lot of people see that as their end point of their career, but there should be some more ambition to kind of move past it if you want to keep playing. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if college soccer is necessarily set up for people that are in college soccer to then, you know, thrive at the next level. So
I from experience, facts, no. Like, the college system it's a 3-month season. You can't play your best soccer and develop your best talent in 3 months. And then, like I said, I believe that the college system can work. It just needs to be reformed. Maybe a year-round league, you know, more emphasis and more focus on the players, give them better eating, better information, better resources, better study hall, more mental health stuff, you know, because, bro, it's a big responsibility to play a D1 sport and then have to do the workload and do the school and go to class and miss all that class, bro. Me coming from high school, from John Marshall, Pasadena, Eagles all day, but that school didn't prep me to do Boston College work. I was getting whooped. Like, and then on top of that, I was playing in the ACC, playing against Wake Forest, bro. As a 18-year-old, no one at the college, no one in that organization at BC gave me the proper guidance to be like, hey, deal with this. And it was 6, 7, 8 freshmen in our team. So the college definitely has its flaws, and that's why we're not developing the best talent. If we are developing as 1 or 2 kids, you know, it should be a whole much larger pool.
I think the main issue is guys need to play year round.
Facts.
So if you're only playing one season, and then obviously the spring league and whatnot.
Mickey Mouse, no, that's nothing. Spring league is worse than Sunday league, bro. We play like 3 games and we trained in a bubble.
Yeah, if you're real motivated, you do it yourself, you know.
Facts.
But college, there's a lot going on. You got to go to school. There's a lot of other things to focus on. It's not a place that you're going to be 100% dedicated to your soccer. And it's like too much fun. You know, you can be in positions where like you get distracted, you know, as opposed to just like really being on your grind, trying to be a pro and grinding it out, you know.
But as far as I will say, let's put all the distractions out to the side. As far as like soccer level, players potential, it's a good level. It's you know,
D1 has always going to get good athletes.
Facts. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, let's find a better system, a better league, a better college program to develop these athletes so that way we have a larger pool for our national team, for our MLS leagues. That way we don't have to bring the Higuain brothers, no disrespect to the legends, but and paying this crazy amount of money to sell seats. You know, I'd rather give that to a homegrown player. NYCFC just signed an 18-year-old Brazilian kid. I can't remember his name up top, but I know he's huh?
I saw that today.
You saw that? Does that make you happy or does that make you sad? I'm like, yo, hell yeah.
Probably a baller.
Exactly. He's a baller. Would you rather the MLS bring a 17-year-old like this, or would you rather bring an old retired legend to this retired league? I don't want the MLS to be a retired league, is what I'm trying to say.
No, it's better. And that's the first thing LAFC did when they came into the league. They got young, South American talent coming in.
Atlanta United, another powerhouse.
It's shown to be successful. And then it's also, as from a business perspective, you buy them. If you keep them a couple years, then you move them on. But that's just the place MLS is finding themselves in the global market. If they have the money where they can get the best talent from Brazil, the young talent from Brazil and the young talent from Mexico and Colombia, and everybody wants to play in the MLS because that's where they can get the money when they're young, and then have some exciting young talent in the MLS that moves on their career, in Europe or whatever. That's much better than going out and getting Zatlan for a year. And
facts. I think the MLS is a super league, bro. We have a potential to become a super league. We have the talent, we have the athletes, we have the markets, we have the cities, we have all the right atmospheres. We just don't have the right culture, and we'll get to culture later. But let me ask you now, speaking about MLS, what are the teams? Who are the teams that you follow? What are the players that you're a fan of? In the league, in this super league.
Well, to be honest, I haven't paid attention to the MLS too much this year since COVID. COVID has like really, I've taken me away from that league in particular.
I feel like from sports general, like the EPL is not the same without fans. Totally, like La Liga,
everything. But in the MLS, I'm an LAFC fan.
Oh man,
I'm a LAFC original. So I got a season ticket holder from the beginning.
Big flex.
and it really, with LAFC coming into the league, kind of sparked my interest into the league.
I hear you.
I grew up in Pasadena. I was never a Galaxy fan. Even though growing up a soccer player, my dad didn't take me to the soccer games. Yeah. I went to baseball games. Growing up, I was a Red Sox fan. I was a New York Giant fan because I watched football with my dad on Sundays. It's kind of like I'm an American. I didn't become a soccer fan and watch soccer until much later in my life.
I hear you.
Growing up as a kid, Galaxy, is like, I don't know. It never called to me. But LAFC changed that, and I got excited about the MLS for the first time. I can take the train down, stop at a pub. There's songs on the train. It's like a real soccer experience. You can supporter group goes down together. The train gets loud.
Yeah.
You get off the plane. You're at the stadium, and it's a really good soccer experience.
I feel like that's the culture that needs to be implemented everywhere across the country. The location is great. It's a real LA team. I'm a Galaxy fan, day one Galaxy fan. My story is different, but LAFC experience is much better than the LA Galaxy as of now. I must admit, that's because you are right. I can't go pregame at a pub. The stadium is going to be packed. The stadium is beautiful in downtown LA, so the atmosphere is right. The team is balling. Vela's there. The Tuesa's there. The midfielder, Canadian midfielder K is nasty.
Yeah, they got good stuff. My favorite players, the jersey that I have, I bought a Latif jersey. Like I
legend, bro. I saw
on my back.
I saw him at Urban Futsal like a year ago, and he was just there making an appearance. Didn't even say anything, just scoping, taking pictures. And I'm like, bro, this guy is a baller. And he's been consistent the last 4 years.
Play anywhere on the field, he's just a soccer player.
He's a player you want to have on your team no matter what, bro. Like Latif Blessing he's on the road, he's first pick. Like he's that engine, that anchor is gonna run up and down.
Like
on the wing or anywhere, bro.
He works himself into he literally played every position for LAFC except center back.
Let's go. Let's
Like
go. And that's it, bro. Those are the players I want to follow. Those are the players I get excited for. You know, those are the players that are hidden in this league, in this super league, bro.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. Yeah. So
Shout
when I
out,
go to
man.
LAFC game, I got Latif on my back for sure.
Man, I hear you, man. I'm a day one Galaxy fan jersey, bro. My experience very different from yours. I grew up in El Salvador, so soccer is something I started playing really, really early, barefooted. I lived across the street from a soccer park. So the only place my mom would let me go is to the soccer park because she could keep her eye on me. When I moved to the States, I moved to Pasadena, California, home of the Galaxy, bro, home of Mauricio Cienfuegos. And as a Salvadorian kid coming from El Salvador to the Rosewood and see my idol, my president in the flesh in that jersey, bro, that started everything for me. Like I wanted to play pro soccer, and it started in the Rose Bowl. So that's why I have this love for this league, bro. And I care about this league. And I think we can elevate with the right intentions, the right soccer minds, and the right, influences. We can elevate the game of soccer here in America and become that powerhouse. That
the MLS is a great league, dude. And I love watching it. I love being a fan, and it's good soccer. Like, I'm pretty tired of people saying, soccer in America sucks.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, you get on the field and play then. Like,
exactly.
These are good soccer players out there,
bro. And that was my number one motivation for starting this channel and this platform. Is tired of talking out of my ass on Twitter. USA national team sucks. Blah blah blah. So and so sucks. Take this guy out. Tronco FC. Like,
there still is a lot of that. Like, soccer fans.
100.
And even guys that I train, they don't watch MLS because they think it sucks, and they'll go watch, EPL. That's the only thing they watch.
Yeah, but
like, Americans got to support American soccer. Like, support your local team.
I feel like we're gonna get that in the next generation. People our age, we're coming of age as far as like, the Eric Hurtados, the Darlington Nagbees, the Jazzy Zardes, who are our generation. They're graduating for the game, and I feel like it's time to get some of the people up, up top. Just the old, no hate towards the old generation, but a lot of the boomers aren't progressive. Our game is not progressing because there isn't progressive minds up top in the federation, and we can talk about politics. And we can talk about everyone who wants to be a Mourinho and a soccer guru till it's time to answer simple questions like, why are we good at soccer? And the reason is why is because agreed, bro. And it's back to the big clubs and selling this dream and pay to play.
I think everybody's got to get on the same page and understand that they're on the same team.
Facts.
There's so much, everything's disjointed. Like, there's so many different leagues, whether it's at the professional level or the youth level, that are competing against each other. There's like, just in like the SoCal region, there's one league that says we are the top league for all youth talent in Southern California. And then another league pops up. It's like, no, you're not. We are the top league.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody's like fighting, and they're not fighting for anything but
money.
But money. Yeah. They're not like actually fighting for, obviously there are teams that are trying to compete and be the best team in the region. But the leagues themselves, are just like, they're just trying to establish themselves as the top league against each other, so they can have more teams, more interest, they can make more money,
more money,
as opposed
to root of all evil, bro, money. And the thing is, like,
now it's gotten to a point that we got 2 state cups, right? We got 2 state cups because, U.S. soccer, now there's a spinoff called it's Cal South, right? Is always state cup. Now there's like U.S. club soccer that's spin off that's you can either be a Cal South league or a U.S. club soccer league, and you compete in 2 different state cups, and it's just totally disjointed, and it's hurting the game, as opposed to everybody understanding that we're on the same fucking team. We need to be all under the one U.S. soccer umbrella that people believe in and want to coach for and want to play for and want to do their job in the soccer world to help that system grow. And I think people miss that a lot. I think people are out there forgetting, why they want to. Obviously, they're here because they love the game. They're here because they want to compete. but you got to remember, as a soccer coach in America, you have to think of yourself as like a ambassador for U.S. soccer, and it's just all disjointed, and just like it is at the youth level that I just described, it's the same thing at the professional level.
Yeah.
All sorts of
Amateur
leagues
level.
competing against each other, saying I'm a better league than you, you're a better league than me. The teams are all the same, it's not like it makes that much difference. And then there's no really way for the cream to float to the top because there's no fluid system, so it's just like barricades everywhere.
I hear you, man. You described so many system flaws just in like the last 2 minutes of talking, bro, and I agree with you 100%. Think what's funny to me about these leagues competing to be a bigger league is that at the end of the day, your league is not accessible to 80% of the soccer talent or soccer potential in the United States. So what are we competing
that's
for?
true. Like, we're talking about the tip of the iceberg here, and then there's all this iceberg that doesn't even have access to what we're
Exactly.
talking about,
So are you really that powerful league that you are? I don't think so. And
I think it comes down to selling a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, even from like 9-year-old soccer being labeled as pre-academy,
yeah.
To at the level that I'm coaching now, clubs and training programs promising agents, and I've signed all these players, all these places. You train for me, then I'll send you somewhere, and it generates all this interest. It's all the same.
Yeah, I hear you. Not to make this political or this to make an American thing, but America treats everything like a business, bro, and no difference with soccer. So youth soccer is a business where these big clubs sell this dream to people that are willing to pay, where there's this concept: soccer should not be sold. America wants to make $1 and wants to sell soccer, period. And this concept that only exists in America. Nowhere else they sell.
The money has to come from somewhere,
Yeah.
So
it does have to come from somewhere, and from someone that's not really familiar. So how do we really make money off soccer? We make money off, just like the rest of the world, by developing talent and then selling it to other teams, right? That's homegrown talent, exporting it to the big leagues, right?
One goal I think that we should have for this podcast, because I want to grow as a soccer person in America. Right now, my main focus is to grow as a coach, to grow my understanding of the game, both kind of like politically and structurally, but also, on the field and tactically and all that. But I think one thing that we should do is kind of do our best to investigate how other countries around the world do it, So what's the system, in Germany like?
Mm-hmm.
Where do those kids play? How many kids are playing? And how does it work? Do they play for free? Or how does it work in Brazil? How do the top Brazilian teams find their kids? Do they have scouts that go out to the park and say, tap somebody on their shoulder and, hey, you want to come?
Ball?
Yeah, like how does that work? So
no,
I don't really have a great understanding about how globally in other countries it works. I have a pretty decent understanding about America because I've been in it and I'm in it still. But I don't really know how it works in like all European countries the same. I don't
know. And that's one, like, again, that's one of the goals for this podcast and this platform is we want to not just educate and bounce different ideas, but at the same time, the game is so big and there's so many different philosophies that can work. So let's document, let's record these things, let's talk about it and see what actually works, what doesn't. I feel like there's no platform that does that, especially in America. So
100.
One of the best systems in the world comes from the Netherlands, Ajax. I feel like they do everything right, from us taking care of the fans, developing the right talent, bringing in the right talent, playing a right system. They do everything soccer. And I feel like this is not something that's just like taught or, bred overnight. It's tradition for the last 200 years, the last few centuries, that these European countries have had of. America's not there yet. And we understand that. But we want to get there, and we start by creating an identity and creating a culture. And everyone says like, oh, we don't have any identity, we don't have a culture. But yes, that's nothing new. We don't know that. So how do we create this? And I think we create this is by giving kids something to play for, by funding the public schools, recruiting by districts, developing by school districts, and then having these kids going from primary school to middle school to high school to a better amateur league or college league to the pros. And it has to come from the big dogs up top, from the MLS, from the federations. That all has to skeleton have these infrastructure. So that way a kid from Pasadena, California wants to represent Pasadena, California, and then get onto the, to the district team, and then get onto the state team, and then, eventually to the national team, and go on and so forth. And
one part that's difficult in America is how big we are. Like in a country like Italy or England or the Netherlands, it's small enough, and there's only so many communities that your neighborhood community club, and everybody can compete against each other, and that system can work. But it has to be, America's so huge that, if you're trying to have that system, you have to do it just in Southern California, just in California, like state by state. I mean, there's just so much work to do.
But think about it. There's 25, there's 30 MLS teams. That's 25 cities. That's 25 cities we can start. That's 25 districts we can start.
I mean, how many LA teams should we have? How many LA neighborhoods should have a team?
Think about it. All right. For example, let's break LAFC as a thing. If you take all the Highland Park, Echo Park, Silver Lake districts, South Central LA, all the real LA, maybe out to like towards Pasadena, bro, that's so many districts that you're going to cover way more ground and give access to way more kids than you would at one or two big clubs in the area, and same thing, we do that in the South Bay with LA Galaxy, and in Texas, and in New York. And that way, eventually we have at least a MLS window to the public eye, to the public talent. Never heard a commentator say something about an American player like, oh man, that American player has sauce, that American player comes from the street, because we don't play like that, because we don't provide anything. And what these big clubs lie about, and how are you gonna try to teach an 8-year-old tactical work and stuff like that? No, these kids up to the age of 10, 11, they got to play, put up 2 goals and let them go at it. Let the older kids go at it with them too, instead of trying to be the Mickey Mouse game and the pirate and paint the picture. And it's just like, no, bro, I feel like we try to adorn that just because we got to sell a curriculum. It's just like, it's a lot of things that are flawed in the system that, need work. And from experience behind the scenes, I think that it's time to hold people accountable and just talk about what's being done with the sport. And at the end of the day, it's all looping back to bad soccer karma and us not being good at soccer and us not qualifying to these tournaments, because number one priority is not to develop talent or win, is to make money.
Yeah. And then in the pay-to-play model in like the youth soccer club world, who's paying? The kid's not paying.
The middle class. The parents.
So then your client as a coach is not the kid. Your job is not to make the kid happy. Your job is to appease the parents and make sure they're still put foot in the bill,
Yeah.
And that's where that curriculum comes in, and coaches will make a PowerPoint saying this, we're gonna teach the kid, and
we gotta be
like this, and
we gotta become showmen and dance and paint. When it's soccer, simple, bro. It's like,
let the kids play.
Let the kids play. Let them go at it. I'm
all for technical development, 100. But when it comes down to it, you gotta let the kids play and be patient,
bro. It's like trying to teach a kid the times table before teaching them the numbers. Like, yeah, they're eventually going to be able to multiply and stuff, but as far as right now, your kid, let's just go 1 2 3, like keep it simple, And I work New York Red Bull, and it's one of the better coaching programs in the country. I met a lot of good people there. The curriculum they taught was okay, but at the end of the day, they didn't care who they hired. They didn't care curriculum was performed. As long as the parents were happy, as long as we were making the good money in Long Island, bro, keep coming in and keep recycling, So the coach doesn't get better, the kid doesn't get better, so it's just like the game doesn't get better. So when we don't make these tournaments, we can't cry about it. We can't. It's sad, bro. It's sad that we're at this point with all the potential, with all the talent and all the promise that we have here in the States. I worked for the New York Red Bull in New York, obviously, and I saw what it is to be a coach. You know, I used to put myself in the shoes of a parent, in the shoes of a player, and obviously it was painted as a great picture, like, oh, I get trained by a New York trainer, blah blah blah, this that. But these were partnerships. This was the Red Bull using the Red Bull name to sell soccer out in Long Island. Like, these Long Island teams still were the Long Island Kickers, but trained by the Red Bull. So these parents had to pay a club premium and then a more higher premium to have Red Bull train them. So as a coach, I was getting paid okay, but I was like, yo, I know they're making so much more money and they're tricking these parents, and someone that knows soccer is not going to pay for this service. Me, if I have kids one day, I'm not going to pay for anyone that doesn't know soccer more than me to train my kid. You know, it doesn't, bro, not to talk bad on Red Bull and stuff, because I said it's one of the better coaching programs. But then I went and worked on for a program called Success Academy. And Success Academy is a network of charter schools, and they have implemented soccer in the everyday curriculum of the American child. So they have chess, they have dance, they have art, and they have soccer as an elective. And what I was a soccer teacher, and I saw these kids every day, and I ran 3-4 soccer classes during the school day, and the kids that were good were stayed with me for soccer club. And the kids who stayed with me in soccer club, I started implementing my way of playing, and I actually could teach soccer. So I found out that the parents got invested, the kids were very invested, and that's where my philosophy and thesis of recruiting my district comes from. I really think that the gems and the right way to build the infrastructure is to start in the charter school and the public system, and give access to the public kids and provide stability to these soccer coaches. Not like these clubs who pay you by the season, who the hours are minimal. There's no stability. As a coach, that it's hard to find work. It's hard to keep one coach with a group of one team for more than 2 or 3 years. It's unrealistic, So I don't know what's a dream that these clubs are selling. So yeah, man, that was a lot to get off my chest.
And all MLS clubs have different models, right? So I don't know how
that's a very great point. Look, let me stop it right there. That's another thing. Just like we have different leagues, we have so many different models. We're not on the same page. So when I asked a couple of friends who work at the MLS, I'm like, hey, what are these MLS clubs doing for the youth? They tell me, oh, everyone has their own model. So some of them have partnerships with local clubs. Some of them have started with the public system. But at the end of the day, it's not enough. If why does LAFC have a partnership with SoCal United? Why does it's things that don't make sense, that it's never going to be linked to something. It's always, I feel like, about money. It's always the LAFC selling the LAFC name out in the valley.
Well, if we as a podcast can get representatives from like clubs around the league, just to have them come on and tell us about what they're doing and why they're doing it, I think that would be fascinating.
Man, I'm gonna jot that down. And like I said, I have
what's going on in Portland. What are they doing?
I think Philadelphia has one of the more progressive, from the homework that I've done, the more progressive programs. And I'm gonna speak to a few guys out from out there.
I would love to hear about representatives from all the clubs. What's going on in Austin? How are they doing it?
I would honestly, bro, I would love to hear directors, like the club directors, like how do they feel about what they're doing, and like what are they doing? And it's like, come here, and let's just have a discussion, and like, I would love that. I would love that, and I guarantee you, you would think all the directors in the MLS that are in charge of their youth programs are interested in growing the sport in their region, because you would think growing the sport in the region is going to make their club bigger, and producing talent that's eventually going to make the first team. I assume if an MLS youth director sits down in the boardroom, those are going to be some of the goals, right? So how are they doing that? I would love to know, and there's probably, like, every team probably does a little different. These are the questions that need to be asked, and we need the answers too. We have the right to ask these questions, and ASAP, just like we needed a a vaccine for COVID last year, we need these answers
Yeah,
ASAP,
that'd
bro.
be
We
that'd be
need,
really interesting because I don't know. Like I know Galaxy and LAFC are like very, very different in their approach. Uh, and I would be super interested to see just what people around the league that are in positions to actually implement ideas and to hear what they're doing and what they think.
yeah, back to the public school system. The proof is in New York. So these kids, if the program is Success Academy program, the soccer program is about 7 years old now, and these kids are traveling to Barcelona. These kids from Brooklyn, from the Bronx, from the projects, bro. These West African, West Europeans, Asian, a lot of Jewish kids, a lot of Hispanic kids, all demographics who wouldn't have the access to soccer have the access to soccer because of this program. If we were to copy and paste this in the 25 cities, or they have MLS teams, we can start there. And I'm gonna fight for this because the
Is
proof
that
is
is
there.
that program still going on?
The program's still going on, and that's proof right there. If it's working in the most powerful city, New York City, the most crowded city, where there's no space to play soccer, where kids are playing in the gym and it's working, and these kids are becoming good and developing and staying at these charter schools because their soccer program is amazing and the parents are really invested because it's saving them a headache. They don't have to go to drop them off. They don't have to go out the road. Everything is locally. Everything is provided to them to play, so I'm a firm believer that our answer is funding the public schools. And I want to talk to as many people as I can, and provide this thesis and provide this hypothesis or whatever this is to, hey, this idea to, like, hey, why don't we start doing this, and how do we start, you know we can do it,
But
the
if we can,
American.
we should try to get somebody on who's involved with that program now.
Oh, I have one, bro. Friday. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that'd be a good
Yeah,
start.
I'm gonna interview a few people from that program who are gonna explain the behind the scenes, how it works, to give people a more vivid picture and actually show the evidence that these kids are actually developing. And it is just a really well structured, well funded program that is giving opportunity to kids to play soccer, and there's in the inner cities access to sports that can provide so many opportunities as far as like going to college, playing in the pros. So many lives can be saved, especially in those inner cities. I've taught in these charter schools, so I know the circumstances and the situation that these kids have to go through. So if we can use soccer and sports as a getaway and as something to get them out of these situations, I think it could be amazing, and I think it could be worth it to invest in. Clearly, the youth system needs a reform. The whole American college system, pro system, amateur system needs a reform, right? And I feel like that's just half of the battle, bro. I feel like we still have to create culture. We still, you know, we hear people saying, like, bashing us, America has no identity, but how do we build culture? What is culture? And, I'm asking you, what do you think?
And we have to have some pride in American soccer,
Some fucking pride, bro. We're the most competitive nation in
like
the world. We have the best athletes in the world.
yeah,
Um,
and like
so
and
realistically, where do you think US soccer is going to be in the next 2-3 years? Where's MLS? Where are we going to be? Where should we strive to be in?
I can't say that necessarily. I think we're going to continue to grow. I really, we haven't even been able to touch on it, but I really am watching the USL. I mean, the USL is like the USL Championship. They're coming out with soccer stadiums. Like they're coming out with full soccer specific stadiums, just like the MLS with training facilities attached to them that are going to be great for the communities. And as we were saying about how large America is and how many communities they are, the MLS cannot be the answer. The MLS can be the super league,
Yeah.
right? But they are not going to be the league that's going to be able to touch every kid in America because it's just too big, right?
Yeah.
So we have to have, but other systems that are going to be like USL.
That's how we build culture, bro. The amateur leagues. And that's how we establish this pride and give people something to play for. If you look at these communities, Hartford, Atlanta 2, Los Dos, they have big, even Phoenix Rising, they have big followings. They have, a
There's a lot of
loyal.
clubs that have done a lot of really cool things, and it's like
Yeah.
I mean, the USL existed when we were playing, right?
Yeah, it's the oldest league. It's the oldest league, and it's older than the MLS. So
I don't know what you thought about it, but I mean, I didn't think much about it, right?
Yeah.
But now I feel like people are really starting to pay attention. I feel like it's just the last couple years. I think that there's been great MLS growth, but I think you got to keep an eye out for what's going on with
USL, the NISA League, the NWSL League,
and see how they grow. You know, and I think that those leagues are going to be really, you know, the heart of American soccer. You know,
I hear you.
As
blue collar league, brother. Blue collar league for sure. That's how all the that's how the EPL started,
with real local community support. You know, like as you said, a Pasadena team. You know, I'm a head coach for Sporting Club Verdugos, who competes in the UPSL.
Tell us
We're
about
trying
that,
to create
please.
a Glendale team. Like this is Glendale's team. You know, this is not LA's team. This is Glendale's team, and Glendale should be able to support a community club, you know, and get 2,000 people out on a Saturday night, you know. So the level right now is like, it's not connected enough, but there has to be some sort of streamline where we should be able to catch up, you know. And that's what the Open Cup comes to, you know, compete in the Open Cup, and we need to have a system where winning matters. You know, if you have success at a lower league, you get noticed and you get opportunities at the next level.
Yeah. There's no regulation. There's nothing that like earlier what I was going to say about the USL. The USL is older than the MLS, I believe. And what's crazy to me is that they're not connected. There's no promotion. There's no regulation between MLS is always just going to be MLS. And
well, USL has USL Championship, USL 1 and USL 2. They have 3 leagues, and they're not connected.
Crazy.
Even within the USL, they don't have promotion and relegation.
And that's
and we can go back to the Super League, the European Super League.
And
why everybody hated it is because there was no accountability of success on the field. Right. You didn't get in there because you won. Arsenal was in there. They're in fucking middle of the.
It was a country club, like,
you know, middle of the table. You're playing in the Super League. Winning has to matter. You know, success has to be rewarded, and it can't be, oh, I knew my agent or somebody selling a dream. You train for me. You play for me. I'll send you somewhere. There needs to be a system where play on the field and success on the field will see you have some sort of path forward to get to the next level. And right now there's really not that.
There's nothing to play for. Like, even if you graduate college, even if you have a successful 4 years, like, if you want to keep playing after that, you know, your options are very, very limited.
I mean, you win the UPSL, you don't get the opportunity to play, you know, somewhere else, you know.
I hear you.
Win, you know, you win the USL, that's it. That's the top of the mountain, you know. So that's that kind of like just barricades at every level, you know. There needs to be fluidity through it. So that's kind of what I think. And so moving forward, the next 2, 3, 4 years of American soccer, that's where I'm looking to. I'm looking to those smaller leagues like the USL Championship, NISA, the NPSL. You know, there's a lot of good teams, a lot of good players there, and I want to see how those teams grow, those leagues grow, and what sort of communities they can build. And I think that is really going to be the difference makers.
I hear you, and we're definitely going to do a good job of covering the USL Championship League, talking to players, talking to coaches, just to get a better experience, you know, give the next generation an inside view of what to expect and what, you know, to look forward to. And I 100% agree with you that I think our foundation block has to come by supporting these leagues, by building communities, and actually brewing these talents locally, and giving them something to play for, giving a championship, a promotion, and not just a cash price.
I mean, there are 2 ways to think of it. You said earlier, about top down big clubs having these giant organizations that will trickle down, but then there's the grassroots effort of like success stories like just Detroit FC that have been able to build a community club and from the bottom up, so but it has to come from both ways, hopefully they meet in the middle. So
do you think we have the potential, the talent to be a powerhouse in the next 4 years in America?
I don't see it happening in 4 years.
Man,
Powerhouse in the international stage.
yeah, international stage. In the next 20 years, 10 years, give me a ballpark.
I don't know. As we've discussed before in my life, I would love to see a U.S. soccer win a World Cup in my lifetime, and that's where I'm at.
I feel that, but it sucks that we have to say that in our lifetime. I really thought that our generation was going to have a great run. Last run we had was Landon Donovan 2002. That's sad, bro. That's almost 20 years.
I mean, our generation, right? We played in the original inaugural Development Academy seasons, right?
Yeah.
Which is now folded, right? Folded to COVID. But when we were playing in it, it felt like, oh, this is something new. U.S. soccer is putting something in place, and we're going places, And it didn't really, come to fruition. And I don't know if we were naive and thinking, oh man, like we're gonna do it, like we're gonna make a dent, or what happened, like.
I think the talent was there. I think, we played in that league. We were the best team in the country of that inaugurational year. We got robbed, but that's old news. But they had Chris Agorso at Baltimore Bays. There was great talent, but again, bro, you were only on that team if you were. It was still an exclusive development academy where the talent was pretty basic as far as pool, as far as like numbers. If we had,
I don't know how many players they had in it, but
but think about it, if we had a system more like that, but throughout the whole regions, and actually, instead of making it nationwide and having more teams in regions, and actually those teams who win in the regions play in states and all that, I think we can start somewhere. But again, it's like it has to come for a place where these kids are not getting charged to play soccer, where it's not a country club, where it's not privilege, like, it's not charged. It's like, we have to provide these facilities. We have to provide just a whole different infrastructure and a better infrastructure for these kids to succeed and develop. And we have to put talent first, and we have to put winning first, and not money, bro. It all roots back to money. As simple. It don't matter where you played. It doesn't matter how much you know about soccer. I mean, soccer is being sold in America, so it's not going to get anywhere because of this concept. And, it's about getting enough people to agree with this, and so we can change it. Because yeah, I don't see it. I don't see another possible way. I want someone to come here and tell me like, oh, there's a better way than the funding of the school system, or maybe the big clubs are the way to do it. But they've had the last 25 years to do something, bro. And where are we? Yeah. So let the new generation, let the new people like me and you, let the new soccer minds that have, actually graduated from the system, that have actually grown in the system, let us give us a crack. I'm to America.
That's another thing, the space is filled. A young coach like me trying to elbow his way in. There's somebody in the game for 50 years who's sitting there and is not going anywhere.
That's the great about the times we live now, where platforms like this, where the real ones are gonna outshine those people, the people that are comfortable up top, that are just milking the sport. We're eventually going to get into those positions, and we're going to elevate. We're going to put the same minded people in the same room and connect the right dots to elevate the game. Because I 100% sure to the Darlington Nagbies and Jazzy Zardes, who have had the American dream career, who are MLS champions, they're not happy with the system. I can tell you that for a fact, because in my opinion, bro, the system has failed them. They didn't play in the World Cup. They should have played in the World Cup. They were players good enough to represent our country.
We should try to get Jazzy on here.
Jazzy, man,
I think we can get
I'm in his DMs, bro. Darlington Abbey, I'm in his DMs. Like, I'm reaching out to the soccer world is pretty small, but yet it's very international, but yet it's a very small world. Yeah, Richie, I talked to Richie the other day. Richie went to school with him, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna. I actually played with Jazzy Zardes for the same club when I was a year older, but he's an All-American, bro. He's an All-American product that can score. You
Who's
know,
the other guy? Yeah, played for the Strikers that ended up playing for LAFC. Played for Minnesota. His name's like
Christian Vasquez,
Christian.
Superman. He's a baller. UC Irvine. That's another
Yeah.
success story. He was under the radar, and bro, like he ended up being man. I'm proud of that guy, bro. LAFC killed it. I think he's in Houston now. He's someone I would love to talk to too. So shout out to Christian Vasquez, bro. There's a lot of people who that we know, bro. Carlos Alvarez, Efrain Alvarez. That's one of the hottest players in the MLS right now. I hope to talk to him. And
You had a nice little meg on your boy Mark Anthony the other day.
I seen that. That's your boy. My boy got your boy. I'm excited for this podcast, and where to take it and where to evolve. Like this is my first video, and I feel like I'm only gonna get better. We're only gonna get better. But
how long have we been chatting?
Man, I don't know. Like, it doesn't say, but it doesn't matter. But I just know that I want to talk and document, and not just talk out the ass, but actually drive action.
A lot to talk about. Sure.
And I like exactly. A lot of people have a lot to say. A lot has to be said. A lot has to be heard, bro. So
I think a main success of the podcast is going to be having real interesting guests.
Facts. I think real people though, not just like the number one draft pick. Nah, I want to talk to the college kid who just won the national championship, the USL guy.
Yes, on here is gonna really, if you get guys on here that have something to say, that care, that have some clout,
it's all for for the better of soccer and to elevate this game. At the end of the day, this is a platform for people who care.
We'll make a YouTube channel, and we'll go to all the USL championship stadiums and take tours of everything.
Bro, we're gonna go on city tours. I can't wait to do soccer city tours, bro. Like it's gonna be crazy. And that's what we want to build. We want to build a community with people who care and love soccer in America, who want to elevate soccer in America. If you're not too good to talk about soccer in America, then you're gonna come in here and just share your knowledge, share your experience. And yeah, bro, I think that's pretty much it. Not the only time I'm gonna interview you. You're gonna come on, and we're hoping to do USL Championship weekend recaps. We hope to talk to USL players, and we're gonna do a lot of our work and our research together on trying to give the best coverage to viewers and create that fan and cult following we want to build.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, I hope to be back on. It's a cool conversation, and as I said, I'm just here trying to grow as a soccer person, and I'm trying to experience the world through the beautiful game. And experience the country through the beautiful game.
Well said. Daniel Frank, head coach at Sporting Club Verdugos. Thank you so much for your time, bro. We'll keep in touch. Peace.
All right. Thanks, Kev.